It said all sessions shall be in accordance with the 6 points of the Star of David, signifying the 6 principles upon which our organization is founded, which is love, life, loyalty, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So when you look at the blueprint and it talks about the 6 principles, that you got to remember they was talking about the same 6 principles in July of 1982. Matter of fact, July the 14th, 1982, they was talking about them 6 principles. So those 6 principles just ain't come about with the blueprint. Those 6 principles came about before the blueprint.
So these same 6 principles would tie back in to the merger of David and Hoover.
Love, life, loyalty, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, because it says it right here. Those principles of love, life, loyalty, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding.
So what we're doing now in the teachings, the vision, and the overall concept and ideology of organization is actually what the idea of King David was.
King David as well as Mr. Larry Hoover.
Okay.
Not just King David, but it was a combined effort. It was both of them.
Okay, so love, life, and loyalty getting it started, and without not we understand it soon be departed concept.
So you got to have both of them, and don't neither one of them don't those first three, love, life, and loyalty, don't necessarily fit to one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
They fit. All 6 principles fit with both of them. That's where
All
that's
is one.
all as one.
There is no division. There
No,
is no separation.
no, no, not at all.
Mm.
Then it says the goals we have set to reach in these awareness sessions are valid goals. It's not like they are impossible to reach. They
Mm-hmm.
valid. We expect Now we expect to range. Now we expect to range from politics to stock markets. So we was gonna learn politics and we was learning stock market. Now some of us was gonna be more efficient with politics and others was gonna be more efficient with stock markets in that range. You know what I'm saying? Because our interests are many. So that means that it was going to take peoples in many different fields to understand many different subjects. Some of us was going to understand legal, some was going to understand education, some was going to understand economics, some was going to understand political, some was going to understand social development, some of us was going to understand security, some of us was going to understand unity, some were going to understand organization, but it all takes on the concept of unity.
Organization.
There you go. They're just like a car. Each part on a car has a responsibility. You can't say that the carburetor is no good because it's the carburetor. You can't say that the windshield wipers is no good because it don't play a bigger role than the motor. What if you get into some rain?
You're
And
gonna need those windshield wipers.
you're gonna need your windshield wipers. You can't say that the tires is better than the boats because you need the boats to put the tires on so they can
Yeah.
roll. So everything has a role. Nobody would be waiting on anybody, but everybody would be somebody, right? Everyone,
Individual parts come together to make a collective.
there you go. Everyone must do their share. Everybody has a responsibility for we make up the organization as individuals to come together as a collective. That's the
So the
same way
spark
if you look
plugs
at,
got a spark for the engine to crank.
there you go. There you go. It says, we shall speak on wars and culture as well as law. They was teaching us everything, bro.
Mm.
Everything. As well as law. Then, now when we go to page 2, it started breaking down what we was going to be. Example, it gave us examples. And a lot of this stuff, we're going to, a lot of it applied to prison. Some of it applied to prison. But then I'm going to make it apply to out here. We're going to show you how it applies out here.
Let's go for it.
Politics. It speaks for itself. The law is what got us into the situation. It's going to take us, it's going to take the law to get us out of it. Slavery was immorally wrong, right?
Right.
But it was a law.
It was.
Okay. Just because it was a law, it don't necessarily mean that it was right, but you got to understand the law. It took another law to usurp that law.
It did.
You know.
Then they created another law to reinstate that law.
Yep.
Without actually making it be that law.
So you took an amendment, which was part of a law. You took the 13th Amendment. You took that 13th Amendment. That 13th Amendment, which was created by politicians that allegedly abolished slavery, but at the same time, it kept slavery instituted because now you may legalize slavery with prisons.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So filing claims. You're talking small claims. You're talking civil rights claims. You're talking all different type of claims. That's legal.
I would say that'd be civil law, wouldn't it?
That's civil law there. Voters' rights. We see that happening. We see that every.
That's a
election.
constant issue.
A constant issue. Voters' right, and you see that states are constantly trying to take away voters' rights.
Facts.
They're always somewhere trying to suppress the rights of voters. Politics in Africa. So they was taking us back to Africa so we can understand what was going on in Africa.
That goes back to the heritage and the culture.
There you go. They wanted us to know what was going on where we was from. Because how can you, we are from there, so we got to be able to relate to what was going on in Africa.
Nationality.
Black organizations.
Woodlawn Experiment.
SCLC. Nation of Islam. More Science. Black Panthers. Mau Mau's. United Slaves. All these particular organizations. Capitalism versus socialism. Just think about it, bro. They wanted us to understand the difference between capitalism versus socialism.
And America is masked under both.
Yes. We think this is a capitalist country, but this also is a socialist country as well.
Yeah. That's a whole nother yeah.
A whole
we'll get
discussion.
into that one another time.
Yes, but this is showing down all the things that we will had to learn.
Yep.
The war in the Middle East. That's still going on.
To this day.
To this day. And we were supposed to learn about the war in the Middle East. That's why I sit and watch so much news. I was just watching a documentary the other day about Chinggis Khan. Everybody think it's Genghis Khan, but his name is Chinggis Khan. The civil rights movement. Look at all look how COINTELPRO infiltrated the civil rights movement.
I about to say that tied back into the Chicago Freedom Movement.
Look at the infiltrators and the manipulators that was involved in the civil rights movement. Look at all the agents that was placed inside of the civil rights movement.
Facts.
Okay. The stock market. Understanding the stocks. How the stocks play a part. And they was telling us this in 1982. Here we are in 2023. And we still haven't made no serious inroad in the stock markets. Eating to live. Not living to eat. Finding the proper foods for us to eat.
That's dealing with GMO. Which we're dealing with right now. With the food shortage at that.
Now, watch this here. Most people think that we're not a religious organization, right?
Right.
And we're not necessarily a religious organization because we don't have that kind of time to waste to be trying to dictate how a person believe, right? But they
Mhm.
wanted us to understand religious teachings.
So we're not a denominational organization,
There you go. But we
but we
supposed to.
recognize the religious root of all things.
There you go. And to understand the teachings of all those particular denominations. So that way, when you understand it, and because your brothers and your sisters might not necessarily all belong to the same denomination. But if you understand the denomination that your brothers and sisters belong to, then you can relate to them better. You have a better understanding.
Blueprint chapter 7.
Mm, yes. Weapons. The politics of. So you're going to be dealing with the politics of weapons. Iran contra.
Biological warfare and various other things.
Yes, sir. Watch this here.
Mm-hmm.
Opposing forces of the movement. Mm.
COINTELPRO.
COINTELPRO. Manipulators. Infiltrators.
Infiltrator.
So
Mm-hmm.
all these things that we discussing is things that we should already know. Exposing all these people's what's been going on with the expulsion, what PLM been doing, exposing all these infiltrators and manipulators and rats and all that. That's what's supposed to be done. We're supposed to do this here because this is what they was teaching us to do. Search and seizure laws. Being able to understand the search and seizure. Prisoners' rights. Knowing what our rights were in prison. That's where you had AR 804.
All right, now TP, let me get into that, right?
Yep.
Because for those of us who haven't been incarcerated, that would be our civil rights.
That would be your constitutional rights
Okay.
out here on
All
the
right.
streets. Because
Okay.
understanding your prisoner's rights, what rights that you have as a prisoner, knowing what rights you have as a citizen.
Okay.
You know, see, because when you're dealing with civil rights, that's a domestic issue.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're dealing with human rights and human rights, that means that is a worldwide issue. So knowing your rights as a not only a United States citizen, but as a human being. Self-determination. They was teaching us about self-determination. Self-determined. Parenting a black family.
That does not sound like no gang banging shit.
It's
TP my language. I apologize.
man, we talking, bro. We hey, we talking, bro. We ain't got to
Yeah,
go through all
that
that.
did not sound like some stuff some gang bangers would be into.
No, not into that. You talking about parenting a black family, man.
Yeah,
So that basically, you basically saying understanding the nucleus of a black family.
man, woman, and child and their role in society.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't think no gangs would care about nothing like that.
Gangs don't care about that.
So that kind of eliminates the gang theory when it comes to growth and development.
Because this goes back to what do it say on page 1? Let's go back to page 1 of this document. It says, without the unity that comes from having a common objective, that same group of people is qualified as a mob gang. So that means there's no unity. So if there's no unity, that means as though you basically there's disunity. So you're going to qualify as a mob. You're going to qualify as a gang.
Mm. So now, with that being exposed, we're seeing COINTELPRO in action
Exactly.
because the media has pushed a whole different narrative about GD and growth and development, as opposed to what the literature is actually saying about GD and growth and development.
Yes. Yes. And that's why you see people's running around here. And we all done it until we start understanding what growth and development is about. That's why we have to go back and meet our brothers and sisters where they're at mentally. Meet them where they at and bring them up. Because we can't see, because we've been where they at.
Right?
Where we at now, they haven't been. So it'll be easier for us to understand them than for them to understand us. That's why we cannot run from the youth.
Mm.
That's why the disconnect is there, because we're running from them instead of going back, meeting them where they at to understand them. And then you start giving them the truth. So now, that truth will be a glass. Let's just take, for instance, a glass of water, right? You drinking some right now.
Yes,
You're drinking
sir.
some in the cup right now. So that truth will basically be a glass of water or some form of nourishment, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's your job to provide it for them and make sure that when they get ready for it, it's there for them to drink it.
Lead a horse to water, but can't make him drink.
You can't make them drink. You just got to provide it for them. You got to leave it there for them. And when it's time for them to drink it and they get thirsty, they're going to drink it. They're going to start drinking. And in that case, that water that I'm talking about will basically be the true essence of what growth and
Growth and
development
development.
is about. That's what they're going to be drinking.
Hmm.
Black American history. So we had to learn the history of our peoples in this country, knowing our life, our situation, what we have been through. Economics, the importance of economics, filing grievances. And in that case, we just say you filing a complaint, right? A grievance was a complaint. It was basically like a complaint.
Facts.
So we could do the same thing out here. So we take that grievance process, because the grievance process was what was required within the prison system. So if you have a complaint out here, you file a complaint. Basically, it will be a grievance. So you equate that from prison to the streets, etc. So that means it was more to come behind this. These was just examples, and that was 20 examples.
Mm.
That says this material will be researched by each active legal staff member and presented to the membership by way of sessions. So the legal staff was getting the information, researching the information, and providing it to the members in awareness sessions.
Mm-hmm.
So the membership had to go to awareness session. And so that's where, when I was in Stateville, that's where the Lil Johns, Govs, Joe G, all these guys that was part of the legal department, and Panama, who was also, all of them, they was a part of the education department. They was instilling all these things in us because that was their job, that was their responsibility. Any non-legal staff member who feels capable of conducting a session upon some subject matters of which he is well versed should express this desire to the unit legal coordinator or to any member of his staff to be forwarded to the legal coordinators, to the unit legal coordinator immediately. So that means anybody, if you had an idea and you was well versed in a particular issue, you get up with the legal coordinator in that particular unit, and they can say, okay, yeah, let's go with this here. And you can present that information because it was all about teaching. Each one teach one.
Got you.
Then it says, everyone will receive a survey sheet. The reason for the survey sheet is to enlighten the legal staff to your various interests, what you are interested in, or many different interests. From here, the legal staff will be able to see in which direction to go, because now everybody putting their survey sheets in, letting them know what their interests are. And then these are the areas that we're going to go in. They're going to sit down, they're going to go do the research. They're going to say, okay, we got 100 people want to deal with voters' right. We got this many people want to deal with this. Okay, we're going to deal with voters' rights first. We're going to deal with this. We're going to address this here, such. All right. Now, I'm saying, many people have many different areas. Now, where you can come and get individual solo teachings. And by you letting them know where your head is at, they will be able to render to you their most adequate services. See what I'm saying?
Understood.
For the subject matter of the early stages of these sessions will be determined by the majority interest of the membership. So whatever the membership, this is beginning. This was the beginning stage. And so whatever the membership felt was their entrance, was the most important interest, that's what they went with. Thank you for reading these lines. We are looking forward to your participation, for it is good to be aware. Sincerely. Wow, man, that's deep. That's deep. So now, for everybody out here who think this is about gang, you are highly mistaken. For the media that tries to portray growth and development as some form of gang, you are highly mistaken. You are highly manipulative. You are highly what word I'm looking for, bro?
Misled,
Misleading and destructive.
deceived.
Yes, because you are destructive. You are trying to cause chaos.
You are active member of COINTELPRO.
Exactly. And if we are participating in the gang situation, we are a participant in COINTELPRO unknowingly.
Mm-hmm.
Unknowingly. Hey, bro.
What up?
This is, man. Hey, man. We got to get on the ball, bro. We have to get on the ball. For those of us who was left out here, man, that was out here, there was a lot of it. I say us because, a lot of people know that I personally wasn't out here for a lot of the destruction that was going on over the last 10, 15 years, 20 years. We got to get on the ball, bro.
I'm with it. I'm here for it.
And it's our job to get on top of things. We cannot sleep. We cannot rest. We got to do everything that we can do in order to bring enlightenment. Our interests are many. We have a multi-dimensional problem.
Facts.
It's not no one area. And it's going to take a multi-dimensional solutions to straighten everything out.
It would take all those who's equipped educationally, and all those who's equipped legally to come together and make this happen.
That's why we was always taught that the legal staff and the education department worked hand in hand. Because as you can see, most people would think that the awareness session letter that was just read, most people would think that that would be the education department's job.
True.
But it was the legal department's job to do this here. The education department assisted in it, but it was the legal department's job to lead the charge. It's their job today to lead the charge. You know. So, do you got anything else you want to add to this here, brother, before we close out?
All I can say is the creed says standing strongly upon our 6 points. So if you profess to be a standing member of this organization, then stand strongly upon your 6 points.
Utilize the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding as we strive in our struggle for education, economical, political, and social development.
That's it.
That's it. That's all of our jobs. We all took a pledge to do this here. We took
And
an
it
I
don't matter your
pledge and it
department or
took a
your
we pledge.
function.
And it don't matter. Just because a person has a more of a leadership role doesn't diminish your responsibility. Although their responsibility might be in their particular department might be a lot more than yours, but that don't diminish your words. That don't diminish your thoughts, your responsibility as a member of this organization.
You got to know your self-worth and your self-value.
Man, you have to. That's why I said that we are a special group of people with integrity and dignity. So that means you are dealing with your integrity if is your pride, and your dignity is your self-worth. We are a special group of people with integrity and dignity, pride, and self-worth. That's what we are. And we have to conduct ourselves in that manner as a special group of people with pride and self-worth. And on that note, we would like to end this awareness session, man, on a high note by saying by thanking each and every one of you for participating in this awareness session, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Peace.